Hi YouTube, it's Kathy. Happy Vlogmas. At this point I'm just going to have to concede that the heating in my house is going to turn on and off in the middle of all of my videos for the rest of the holiday/winter season, and I hate it so much because it makes the audio sound so gross, but it's gonna happen. I have literally no control over it. I live in a really old house in Victoria and heating is included in the rent and the landlord controls the heating, so it just turns on and off at random times. Anyway, that's not what I wanted to talk about at all, but the heating was just on and off while I was trying to do the intro to this video, so that's what I started with. What I would actually like to talk about is podcasts. Now, if you saw my video from a few days ago about audiobooks, you'll know that podcasts aren't something that I knew about until fairly recently. And I think back on that version of Kathy, and she's a little bit of adorable with her downloading the episodes from the website and then putting them onto an MP3 player and then listening to them that way. It's actually kind of cute. And that's because I didn't realize that podcasts really don't take up that much space on your phone. I may have also been under the impression that you had to have data, or at least the Wi-Fi to be on to be listening to a podcast, and because I don't have data in my plan and I don't want to get data because money, I just figured it was a better system to download and listen on an MP3 player. Oop, the heating's back on, just so you can know about it. So I just wanted to share with you some of the podcasts that I listen to. Now, the first podcast I ever listened to was Welcome to Night Vale. This is the one that I was downloading from SoundCloud and listening to on my MP3 player. And when I caught up to being current on that at the time, I went and looked for other podcasts online. And I found one that was completely finished, and it was called We're Alive, and it was a zombie survival podcast. I don't know if you can find it anywhere, but if you just want something that's done, I'm pretty sure it's just like we'realive.com or something like that, and you will be able to find it. Mostly, I just want to show you my pod kicker and let you know some of the things that are on my list. Occasionally, I will listen to 99% Invisible as not one that I have to listen to every episode of, and it's not a podcast where you really have to listen to every episode, but they're little 5-minute snippets about things in design that you wouldn't normally think about, and I do find them pretty interesting. Next on my alphabetized list is Adventures in Roommating. Honestly, I'm only like 6 episodes through this, and I know there's like almost 200 episodes of it, but come on, I told you that I didn't know about podcasts for a really long time, so it's gonna take a while. Plus, I have to be in the right mindset to listen to two people banter about their sex lives for an hour. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love it, but I have to be in that type of mind frame. The next is Alice Isn't Dead, which is a Night Vale Presents podcast. This one is about a long-range trucker who is looking for her wife, who she knows isn't dead, but has no proof of it, and everyone else thinks she's dead. And weird things happen because it's a Night Vale Presents podcast. The next is Chapters and Chill, which hasn't posted in a while, and I really hope they continue, but two ladies from Portland get together and talk about a book basically for an entire month. So they'll choose a book, and that month they'll talk about it. However, things just kind of crashed and burned after the US election results, and they haven't posted since, so... The next on the list is Color Code, which is a podcast put out by the Globe and Mail that discusses race and racism in Canada, and I'm finding it really intriguing so far. The next on my list is Criminal, and I've listened to most of these episodes. I found this one while I was on a road trip and while I was on buses for a really long time. And I've always been a fan of true crime things, so this podcast was just perfect to fill that need. Next on my list is Curiosity Door podcast, which is a Stranger Things Dungeons & Dragons podcast, and I'm gonna level with you here. I've listened to the introduction, but I haven't actually started going through the actual episodes yet. One of the people on this podcast also does the Tiny Fences podcast, which is a podcast about Buffy the Vampire Slayer and a rewatch of that. And I saw a live taping of that podcast at Geek Girl Con in Seattle, so I've subscribed to both of them but haven't really gotten into them, especially because now I'm listening to more audiobooks than I am listening to podcasts. With the exception of things such as Dear Hank and John. I'm always current on Dear Hank and John. I absolutely love this project. For those of you that don't know, Hank and John Green have a comedy podcast about death where they answer your questions and then give you all the latest news from AFC Wimbledon and Mars. Next I have Explain Things to Me, which is Anna Akana and Brad Gage getting intelligent people to come and explain basically their professions to them. This is super interesting. Again, I'm super behind on it, but I have listened to quite a few episodes, and because of the episodes I've read the books that those people have written and that type of thing, just because I find it so interesting. Invisibilia is another one that people said was amazing, and I've listened to a few episodes, but I haven't got super into it, so it's on the list in case I want to, but I don't feel any driving need to do that immediately. Last name basis is Cheska Lee and Patrick talking, basically, about the fact that they are married, and then basically about politics. Again, super behind on this. I think I'm probably about a year behind on it, but it is actually fun to listen to them talking about the political things that were going on in the past. Be like, yep, I remember when that happened. Oh, that's an interesting point about that, actually. The next is Lore, and I am almost caught up on this one. I'm really digging Lore, especially because a few of the episodes seem to be around my geographical area, and I've just found that super fascinating, and it makes me want to go to those places. And I'm far enough in the podcast that apparently a TV show is happening, so maybe it's already happened and I missed it. I haven't really been looking into it, but I'm really enjoying the podcast so far because I love creepy things. The next is the Nerdette podcast, where our hosts bring on nerdy people and just talk about them, and it's honestly amazing. I haven't listened to every episode. I definitely went through and listened to the first few, and then I just started going through the episodes and seeing who the guests were or what the topics were, and then choosing based on things that I knew about or things that I would be interested in learning about. They're definitely my people. The next is Serial. I really enjoyed the first season. The second season I was kind of on. I kind of quit midway through and then finished listening to it. I think I finished listening to it. Did I finish listening to it? Yeah, I finished listening to it. The next is The Illusionist, which plays with words, and because I'm a giant nerd, I freaking love it. The next is The Memory Palace, and it's kind of like 99% Invisible, but it just talks about random things instead of things in design. Next is The Orbiting Human Circus of the Air, which is another Night Vale Presents podcast, and it is also very strange. It is broadcast from the top of the Eiffel Tower, and it follows around a janitor of the Eiffel Tower, and it's strange. Really don't know how to feel about this one so far. The next is the Penumbra podcast, which my friend Sarah told me about over at The Princess and the Scrivener, and I am absolutely in love with it. It goes back and forth between two-parter episodes and these kind of standalone episodes, and the two-parters are about Juno Steele, who is a PI on Mars, who is non-binary and bisexual, and it's delightful. And then the standalones are sci-fi or mystery or something just out of the ordinary. Next on the list is The West Wing Weekly, because I love The West Wing, and I haven't been watching the episodes then listening to the podcast, but I have watched all of The West Wing, so it's fun to go back and be like, oh, that's what that person's doing with their life now. Oh, they're interviewing that person. I love that person. I think maybe it was about the third episode they had Dule Hill on, and I was like, oh, Dule Hill, I missed you so much after watching The West Wing that I watched all 8 seasons of Psych. The next on my list is The Thrilling Adventure Hour, but I actually haven't listened to any of it. I just know about it because they did a crossover with Welcome to Night Vale, and I've listened to that before, and it seemed like something I would get into, but I just haven't gotten around to it. After that is Welcome to Night Vale, which again I love, and guess what? I get to see it in February live in Vancouver, and I'm super excited. And at the very bottom of the list is another Night Vale Presents podcast, which is Within the Wires, and this one is really interesting because of the formatting of it. It's formatted as though it's self-help tapes, but as you're listening, the story slowly unfolds, and it's really cool, so I highly suggest that one. And there you have it. Those are all the podcasts that I currently am subscribed to on Podkicker. What are your favorite podcasts and why? Let me know down below, and I will see you tomorrow for more Vlogmas. Bye!